Hey everyone, welcome to the Otherz podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Penny. Joining me this week, another, I think, New York native, but at least in New York at this time of recording. Again, if you follow us, you probably follow him. You probably know of him and all the moves that he's making at the moment out there in New York. It is Sim from the Hill. How you doing, man?
Yes, sir. I'm good, bro. I'm definitely a New York native, from Harlem, born and raised. And it's an honor to be here, bro. I appreciate you inviting me on.
I appreciate you joining us. It's been a while in the making, but you are here at last. We're going to talk about some of the great stuff that you've been working on, that you are working on, and all of that. But first, we must discuss our track as we always do. This week, we are talking about the worldwide smash hit Happy.
Yes, sir.
The one track that everyone on the planet knows. And I was going to say loves, maybe doesn't love quite so much nowadays, seeing as it has been played to death.
Right.
But let's go through a few of the stats quickly. Released on the 21st of November 2013. Obviously, it's part of the Despicable Me 2 soundtrack, but then it also appeared on Pharrell's second solo album, Girl. It got to number one in a ridiculous 24 countries. In the UK, it reached number one 3 different times. It was the best-selling song of 2014 in the US, with 6.5 million copies sold, as well in the UK with 1.5 million sold, and it was the most downloaded song of all time in the UK as of, I think, September 2014. And the eighth highest selling single of all time in the UK.
Wow.
It was also the most successful song of 2014 across the world with 13.9 million units sold. So it did some crazy, crazy numbers. And I think anyone, even if they're not a Pharrell fan, will know the track and will have heard it so many times and seen the video so many times.
Yeah. Between that and then just the whole Despicable Me, because that was on the soundtrack, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So kids know that. I feel like kids are the root. Once kids know a song and it's a thing for them, that's just like, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's worldwide. And it's one of those tracks, you know, I talk about the podcast here to people when they ask me what I do outside of work. And I say, I do a podcast about N.E.R.D and Pharrell Williams. And even nowadays, I still get a lot of blank stares. People are like, who's that? But then you say, oh, you know the guy that did Happy? And immediately people are like, oh yeah, I know that song. I know that guy.
Yeah.
Just everyone of every age knows it. Every demographic knows it.
Right. And not necessarily in the best way, because some people are like super sick, tired of that song. But I think everyone started out liking it. It got so many spins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
It's one of those tracks, it as you say, kind of once kids get into it and it's associated with a kind of a kid's kind of film and it blows up in that way,
yeah.
it's always going to get that radio play, that TV play. And yeah, it's one of those songs nowadays where if, you know, when I listen to it to kind of go back over the video and make some notes, I don't mind listening to it itself. It's a well-produced, well-made, well-written track.
Right.
But if it comes on when I'm just kind of listening to music around the house, I will generally tend to skip over it.
Right. Nah.
It's not one that I want to hear for like the 30 millionth time.
Yeah, also I haven't heard it. I mean, I probably have heard it over time, but since it came out, like once it died down a little bit, and I was like, you know what, I don't mind it as much. But I definitely remember that year. I was like, damn, like I'm so over this song. But you know, it's a good song and it's a family song, so I feel like
Exactly. And I was going to say, I have an 8-year-old kid, so when Despicable Me 2 came out, he was, I don't know, 5 or something. It was probably a few years ago now, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
2013, wasn't it? So yeah, a few years back. So he was about 4 or something. And obviously he liked the song and he liked all the Minions and stuff.
Right.
So again, you got to sit there and watch the video on constant loop on YouTube as well, and it gets seared into your brain.
Right.
So some interesting facts about the song. It was originally written with CeeLo Green in mind. I think, with his voice and that kind of falsetto that's used throughout the track, it would have suited him quite well.
I could see that. Yeah.
But from what I've heard in sort of Pharrell interviews, this is one that he actually took to the people who were overseeing the soundtrack of Despicable Me. It was the 7th or 8th or 9th track he'd kind of taken to them to find a lead song for the soundtrack. And they turned all the others down. They didn't like them for whatever reason. But he obviously had a demo of this one that he'd recorded, and this is the one they picked up on the 8th or 9th try or whatever it was. So it almost nearly didn't become a song at all.
Right.
Had it just been passed off to CeeLo, had it not made the Despicable Me soundtrack, I don't know if it had been quite as big, if it didn't have that kind of movie tie-in or anything, but it did, and it turned into a monster.
Right. This was also, I don't remember what Pharrell was doing that year in terms of like BBC or whatever, but I know that he was going crazy with the hats. And that was a big trend. And I know him putting out that visual, he wore like a couple of those hats. Or maybe it was the same hat, I don't really know. But he wore a few in the video. And I just remember that being a real big thing that year. So that probably added to it. You know what I'm saying? That just added, I don't know. Pharrell's all over the place. Like, he's literally the greatest. So I feel like any year that Pharrell's doing something really cool, whether it be like soundtrack stuff or fashion-wise, like, I feel like it just always plays into each other, I should say, for, just to make everything else bigger.
Yeah, definitely. It was around that time when, he had the kind of buffalo hat that he was wearing a lot, and changing, as he's done kind of numerous times, changed almost what's happening in streetwear and in fashion, and
right.
not necessarily directly through BBC or Human Made or anything, but just what he's feeling at that time, what he's deciding to wear. And this was that kind of in between period where I feel there wasn't a lot going on with BBC, and Human Made wasn't completely conceptualized.
Right.
I don't think they had any bits out at that point. I may be mistaken, but I don't think they'd released anything properly.
If they had, it was like something real simple, like just like basic logo tees or something.
Exactly, yeah. I do remember some sort of basic ones from quite a few years back, but I don't know if they'd made it out to the public at that point. So it was that kind of weird in-between period. And obviously he decided with the hats and things like that. There were a lot of, I remember at the time, Timbaland collaborations as well happening with BBC and with him. And I know in the video I think he's wearing Timbs in a couple of his segments of the 24 hours of Happy thing that he does, at least in 2 or 3, I think.
Right.
So, he had all these kind of different styles going on, different collaborations happening. I think this is where he was trying to work out what was happening with BBC and how to kind of take that forward.
Right. If we could talk about the video real quick.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get into the video. The many videos, the 24 hours of videos.
One, that concept by itself was just something like all the way different, because you never really heard of something like that. And it was cool that he kind of like utilized the live streaming and just the fact that like YouTube is 24/7 kind of operation. And there's people all over the world who are in tune with that song. So I feel like that was a good... The thing is with Pharrell, you never know if it's like a marketing scheme. I feel like it's never really a marketing scheme with him. That's just his mind. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's just before his time when it comes to stuff. So that was just a really good ploy. And then the whole video was so diverse. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's people from all over the world in the video, all different skin colors, all different ages, all different, you know what I'm saying? And that played well too, because, I mean, when someone's watching something, seeing someone that looks like you is the best way to get somebody to tune in, you know what I'm saying? And it was just everybody in there. It was old people, young people, girls, guys, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that worked well. And like I said with Pharrell, I don't feel like he does anything to like, oh yeah, this is good branding. Like, I feel like that's just his heart. That's just the type of person he is, with his whole, human race concept that he always goes with. I think that's just him. Like, I feel like whoever was setting up the video might have been like, oh, let's put these type of people here and let's put these type of people here. And he's like, nah, let's just mix it up,
Yeah, definitely. And this is something I noticed around this time as well with the Girl album. I think I wrote a review of it at the time, and I said it was I can't remember the wording, but it was yeah, this was around the time it was before the Me Too stuff, but this was around the time when the kind of empowerment of women was becoming more of a public thing, more of something in the media. And I think I wrote something along the lines of it seemed a bit, I guess, kind of sycophant and or maybe trying to ride on the kind of the wave of that kind of movement that was happening in terms of the concept of the album and being about empowering women. Mm-hmm. But I think I was kind of looking back in hindsight completely wrong. I think he wasn't doing it as a marketing ploy or anything like that. And the same goes with this song and the video and the concept. It is genuinely about what he feels is important at that time, what he's into at that time. Right. And as you say, the video has literally
everybody.
Everybody. So, and for those that aren't aware, I think most people will be aware, but obviously there's the main Happy video, the 4-minute video with Pharrell, with different people. But then they did this 24 hours of Happy video concept where it's basically a 24-hour running loop of different people kind of miming the song in some kind of way, whether they're dancers or performers or just in their neighborhood walking around. And from what I understand, the kind of French team, We Are From LA, were in charge of looking after the video, and they actually pitched the idea to Pharrell, and he was kind of really interested in it. And kind of so, if you go on YouTube, I think there is a version where you can just watch 24 hours of it, or you can go through and find individual ones. Pharrell did he do one for each hour or something? So he may have done 24 different ones or something like that. But altogether, there are 360 4-minute music videos that you can go and watch. The main video itself has 465 million views, nearly 500 million. And if you combine all the versions together, I think they've got something like 1.2 billion views now. I think my son is probably responsible for about 200 million of those in my house.
Right.
But there's about 1.2 billion YouTube views from that. And obviously, throughout all these different videos, you've got cameos from different people involved in the film, but also kind of friends of Pharrell. So you've got one with Tyler, the Creator, and Earl Sweatshirt. There's an Odd Future one.
Right.
Kelly Osbourne, Magic Johnson, Sergio Mendes, a really super awkward Jimmy Kimmel one.
Super awkward.
Super awkward.
There was Steve Carell.
Steve Carell one, which is almost just as awkward.
Yeah, almost, but Steve's also an awkward guy, so it just goes.
It's like the middle-aged white guys can't really pull it off too well. There's a Jamie Foxx one, a Miranda Cosgrove one, I think, and then a bunch of other kind of celebrities as well.
I think my favorite is just seeing the old school Odd Future cameo, just because, I mean, looking at where they all are now, everybody's still successful, but they're not as much of, that was like Odd Future, not necessarily in their prime, but like, right, you know what I'm saying? They were still together, still moving as a unit. And, I mean, Tyler just had #1 album in the country last week. I mean, everybody's doing their thing, but it's just cool, like, to look back and be like, damn, like, he got them right when they were still together, still moving like a pack.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm just adding that Tyler album to my notes, actually, because I had completely forgotten about that, and it's probably worth mentioning when we get to it in a moment.
Right.
So, in terms of the video as well, it was nominated for the Best Male Video at the 2014 VMAs. I don't think... Oh, it lost to Frozen, I think, if I remember rightly.
Another Kids...
Actually, no, that was the Academy Award it lost.
Oh.
It lost the song to Frozen. I can't remember who the video lost to in the VMAs, but it was Best Original Song or something at the Academy Awards, and lost there. It was also nominated for a Grammy as well for Best Pop Solo Performance. But I love the video itself. I love the concept. I love the execution of the video as well, where you've just got one kind of Steadicam operator whose name I have in my notes, John Beatty, who basically, I think, filmed every single one of those. And most of them are done in one single shot, basically. Mm-hmm. So you've got 360 videos. You have to kind of scout locations for 360 videos. You have to rehearse for 360 videos. You have to shoot those 360 videos. It's a huge operation, and I can't imagine how long it took to obviously piece it all together from end to end to make that 24-hour thing.
Right.
But it's a big thing, but it worked really, really well.
Yeah, yeah. No, that video is honestly amazing. I feel like I hadn't checked it out since it came out. And I checked it out recently, and just like I didn't even, I didn't watch like the whole 24-hour version or anything like that. But just thinking of the song in general, like I don't know. As a musician, I think sometimes about how something can last a long time, and as annoying as that song got to a lot of people over time, I could tell that it's gonna live a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like just that whole vibe. You'll be able, if a kid is born today, 3 years from now, you could show that kid that song and they're gonna fall in love with it. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely, it'll put a smile on their face.
Put a
Yeah, yeah.
smile on their face. It's gonna keep doing that for generations, and it's so simple. And I feel like that's the key.
Yeah, and what I love about this, you can tell a song is going to really blow up and it's going to last a long time when it starts like a movement in itself. It starts like a viral kind of movement. We live in that viral age now.
Right.
But it did, and you had these happy in whatever city videos. And, I did one here in Helsinki with a friend of mine, and then, we just got we asked in all these kind of Facebook groups and just got, random bunch of people from all across the city, Finnish people, foreign people, and we kind of put together our own version here in Helsinki. But you've got those versions of those videos from towns and cities in all sorts of, random places you would never imagine on every continent of the earth. And that's when you really know a video or a song is really gonna blow up and it's gonna last. The kind of test of time, yeah.
Shit, bro. There's probably people still making happy videos. To be honest,
it wouldn't surprise me. And part of me has kind of thought over the last year or two about even trying to do a new version, because there is still this kind of World Happiness Day that happens every year. People here in Helsinki that were part of the video and companies that were part of the video here, they still share the video every year on World Happiness Day, and I'm sure there are other people in other companies around the world that share their kind of local version as well.
Right.
So it's definitely still ongoing, and people are still listening to the song and liking the song and the message behind the song, which is positive and upbeat, and you think about what's happening in the world at the moment. Sometimes you want to block all that shit out, and you need some positivity and some happiness. And even if it is a 3.5 minute pop song, yeah, that's what works for some people sometimes.
Right. And I feel like in this age where things go viral, certain things go viral because of dances, and certain things go viral because that's just the sound at the moment. But I feel like Happy is one of those songs where it's gonna be, I don't know. It might be like a whole nother form of, that whole viral epidemic where it can last for years. It can keep going just because, the song's about a general emotion that we all would love to feel more often. You know what I'm saying? It's not based around a dance or a song craze or any of that other stuff. So it's going to definitely last a long time for sure.
Yeah, it's just a damn good pop song.
Right.
All right, let's. I think we could probably talk about the video in the various versions for hours and hours, but I think we probably need to move on to some other bits and pieces. Let's. We tend to give it the videos and songs a quick score. I think this was probably quite a hard one to score, but if you can give me out of 10 what you think of the song and then of the video, and when I say video, I probably mean the whole kind of general concept of the 24 hours of Happy.
All right. Shit, bro. I want to say now, especially now that we're talking about it and we dissected it the way that we have, let me start with the video. I'd give the video like an 11. Yeah, because we really don't know what it's gonna do with time. We really don't know if Pharrell had started a whole wave and it's just gone over our heads and we're not really gonna figure out about it for a couple years. But in general, just the way it was shot, the diversity of the video, which that came out years ago, and I still haven't seen any video as diverse and, as positive and stuff. So I'll give that like an 11. Shit, bro. I mean, in the sense of a pop song, in the sense of a good, generally good feeling song, I give Happy like I I feel like it's hard to hate on, but I say like an eight. I say an eight. Not personally like I want to listen to it all the time, this, that, and the third, but I mean, what can you say negatively about that song? There's not much to not like about it, you know?
Yeah, precisely. I think if you'd ask me on any other day, I'd probably say, "Oh Christ, not that song." 4, 4, 5.
Right.
But when you actually break it down and you think about it as a song and the impact it had on people around the world, and Pharrell's career, I think that launched him into like the stratosphere basically. Like you say, there's nothing really negative you can say about it, in the way it's written, the way it's composed, the way it's produced, etc. So yeah, I'd got to give the song a good strong 8 to 9.
Right.
It will last the generations. I'm sure it will. In terms of the videos, I'm with you. It gets a good 9 to 10 for me. Just the concept was something completely new. It was completely inclusive. It was completely different. There's something there for everyone and anyone, basically.
Right.
And like I say, it started this kind of viral kind of thing that people around the world have been involved in. So yeah, brilliant from me. Let's move on. Let's move on to you. Let's give you some time here and talk about what you're up to. So I will go back to how I was aware of you, how I kind of know of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's originally from the kind of BBC Ice Cream link, where you were doing the ice cream zine
Mm-hmm.
that you put out. Was that probably a couple of years ago now or something, wasn't it?
Shit. That I started making it 2 years ago, but I didn't put it out until last May.
Yep.
Last That's when it was like selling at BBC and stuff.
So yeah, if anyone's kind of new to the podcast or new to BBC or whatever, this was kind of a small magazine that you put together through various kind of photo shoots and graphic design, kind of covering BBC ice cream stuff. And as you say, it was selling in the store and obviously done kind of in collaboration with them to some effect.
Right.
But you kind of put that out yourself, and you were selling it yourself and selling it, with them and in the store.
Yeah.
And I remember as soon as I saw somebody post, I don't know who it was that put me onto it or posted about it, but somebody did, and I followed yourself and ordered a copy myself. And
Right.
and yeah, kind of what I love is it really follows the kind of aesthetics that I think people love about ice cream, which is those crazy colors and designs and the way it all kind of pops and just really great photos as well. And if you look at it from a creative perspective and creative direction perspective, really, really nice, really well put together. So yeah, that's kind of where I was aware of you for the first time. But then obviously following you over the last kind of couple of years, you see all this other stuff you're working on and you're doing. So let's start with one of your projects. Let's start with Bust Down Tees.
Yes, sir.
Which I think everyone is kind of aware of now, starting to get very much noticed. I saw the little Instagram posts of you the other day, sitting with the general himself, with Nigo in the store there, of him signing your T-shirt.
Big Boss Nigo. That was a great moment, bro.
The general himself, yeah.
Sir.
How and why did you start Bust Down Tees?
All right, so I mean, I have a partner in this, Annalisa Zadian, and we both were working at BBC Ice Cream. I want to say around last summer, and it's funny enough because Annalise had worked there for about like a year before I even like got cool with her, got to really talk to her, because we had opposite schedules. So I never really saw her or anything like that, but the other employees had told me that she was cool and whatnot. And I had seen her on Instagram, and I was like, oh, she has style. And, but a lot of people in New York have style. But I guess when we finally like linked up or just started working the same shifts, we started talking just about clothes and stuff. And I had seen that she was like a one of one like me. One of one in the sense of, you might get a BBC piece, or you might get an ice cream piece or human made piece, and you do something to it. You wear it a certain way to make it, your own. And I seen that she was like that a lot of the time. She'd come to work with things that I don't know, just ways where she'll wear something and it's like I never thought about that. Or I know she used to wear some of the BBC stuff that was for men, but she'd wear it herself, and that was always something that I thought was real cool because some of the stuff wouldn't even be that cool, but she'd just make it look cool. Um, and I think Bust Down Tees got started where we were just appreciating like Pharrell from 2005, 2006. And I don't know if you're familiar with BB belts. BB belts, it's a so belt. They're these belts made out of Swarovski crystals uh, through a company called BB Simon. And in Harlem, where I'm from, it was a huge trend in like 2006, 2007, 2008. And we both had one, and we were just looking at it like, yo, this is really cool. Like the it looks like diamonds, to be honest, and in a belt. And we were just like, man, we should try to make something like this with a shirt. And Pharrell had already done it in like 2005. Pharrell, I mean, for the last 20 years, 25 years, he's always just been on his own type of time, just doing whatever he wanted to do. And I think the first picture I'd ever seen was when he had presented the like ice cream sneakers for the first time. It was like during like a Reebok like I don't know. He was just talking to officials at Reebok and he unveiled them. And he was standing right next to Nigo and he had the OG logo. Uh, we call it bust down because it's like a rap term. When you get your chain like flooded out with diamonds, that's usually like you bust down your chain. So he had a bust down shirt on, and we were just like, man, that's so cool. And BBC had put out a couple pieces back in that era as well, like '06, '07, '08, of just some Swarovski crystal collabs. And we were just like, man, those things was like $300 back then. If we try to find it now, it's probably like worth like 1,000. So we should just make our own. And the first shirt we did it with like a regular OG logo, and that looked cool, but we weren't, we weren't prepared to like. I don't know. That first shirt was just like it didn't look that cool. It looked cool enough for us to just wear ourselves, but uh, we got word of them doing the cocoa tea. It was a 15th anniversary cocoa tea. That was what it was, and they were gonna release it at ComplexCon, and we had seen them. I had done the shipment where the package came in, and we were just like, nah, we have to do something with these. Like, we have to try to buy these beforehand and try to put crystals on them. Um, and when we did it, we were just like, nah, we have something here. Like, this is different. And thank thank a couple people. Thankfully, a couple people at BBC that had the power let us get it before it even came out to bust down, pretty much, to put crystals all over it. And we did that, and we were able to sell them at ComplexCon on the same day that they released, like, for BBC. And I feel like that was like a good introduction for us because we had done the shoot already, we had done the video and everything like that, and we were just waiting till BBC unveiled it. And I was working at the BBC booth at ComplexCon last year, but Annalise wasn't, and so she was able to just walk around and just like pretty much sell the shirt. And whenever I had like a little break here and there, I'd walk around with her, and that even did more for it. You know what I'm saying? Us just being, I call her my twin, but we're just like opposites, not in the sense of like our style, but the way we look and stuff like that. So it just does a lot for people when they could see both of us in it, because, guy, girl, white, black, it doesn't really matter. Like, you can see yourself in it. And that did a lot for us. That was like a great introduction.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's no better design and T-shirt to come in on than re-release of an OG logo that everyone's sort of after as well, and in that colorway that everyone sort of really interested in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So since then, you've also done you've had the Running Dog one.
Yes, the one right after the OG logo was the Nego chain tee. Um, in which they started selling at Complex Con, and we couldn't get our hands on those beforehand because that tee is just like whole nother level.
Yeah, I remember asking a few people for it, and I probably could have got hold of it, but it was becoming hard to like really get hold of.
Yeah, bro, that was the first shirt selling out at the BBC booth at Complex Con. Like each day, it was just selling out in like the first hour. Um, but pretty much it was a human-made T-shirt uh, that had Nigo's old chains on it. It was the running dog, the cones and bones, and then the BBC astronaut helmet. And it was just a great shirt. Sold out really quickly. We got our hands on like about 6 or 7 of them, and we put crystals. This time though, we didn't fully bust it down, so we didn't put crystals in every little centimeter of it. You know what I'm saying? We kind of like tastefully had just placed them on, depending on the color, placed them on the chain. So it kind of made the chains look like they were alive. If you turn to the side, you would see, it went from a regular graphic to it then like having a little glimmer as if it was the chains. And that was probably like the shoot was fun for that. And I don't know. We also was selling it for a higher amount because the shirt without the crystals was already going for like 500. But that was definitely like a piece. Like I remember we made them and we were looking at them for a while like, yo, I feel like we shouldn't even sell these. Like these are just so cool, you know? For real, bro. For real.
They do look really, really good, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you obviously had one in front of N.E.R.D, was it last week?
Yeah.
And he actually signed one for you. And...
Yeah, bro. I had on the N.E.R.D chain tee. Annalise had on the new Dancing Dog tee, and we got in line to meet him first. And I'm cool with I don't know if you know about the Honest Boys.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm cool with Mandy and Rio. I met them at Complex Con, and they like started following me, and they always check up on me and stuff like that. They were with him and Verdi. They were with Nigo and Verdi, and when we first came up just to take a picture, I don't think he really saw the shirt. I had on a Curry Up shirt as well, so he was probably looking at that. And he was just nice about it. But then I came around again. I got back in line, and I was like, nah, like I need him to like see the shirt, because I don't want to necessarily put it in front of him and say, Nigo, look at this shirt, but I wanted him to see it. And the second time around, I asked him to sign it, and he really started looking at the shirt. Like before just signing it, he put the.
You didn't want to put it in front of him and say, "Look at my shirt,"
Right.
But you stood there and held it out and said, "Please, can you write your name on this?"
Bro. I'm just like, yo, please, like, I didn't have to say, like, yo, check this shirt out. We made this, that, and the third. We never got to say that, but I just remember him putting the marker to the shirt and then like taking a step back and being like, oh shit, like the shirt is actually like alive, He was just like looking at it and moving from side to side, and I was like, damn, this is so amazing.
That's some like Inception level shit.
Like seriously, bro, because he's looking at the shirt of his chains and he's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy, bro. But that definitely, that made everything we're doing with Bust Down Tees worth it, to be honest. And I had met Pharrell actually at Complex Con with the Coco tee, the Bust Down one, and he didn't say anything about it specifically. He was doing so much, but I know he appreciated it for sure. And he probably thought, he made it. It was some type of, exclusive release, but it meant everything to us to meet Nigo and to have him check out the shirt like that. And to have, Mandy and Rio also like appreciate the shirt, and that was just everything, bro. That was everything, because Nigo's really general, also super intimidating dude. Pharrell you'll get a smile out of, but Nigo is bold-faced all the time.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that have kind of bumped into him over the years and at events and things like that, or have worked with him. And he's always got that look. I don't think you ever kind of quite know what he's thinking
Exactly.
or what's going through his mind. Yeah, like say with Pharrell, he's like he'll smile, and like when I met him last year and stuff. He'll go in for a hug if you want that, and he'll like chat away to you and.
Yeah.
and he'll be like, "Oh, I really appreciate you guys and all this." Yeah, with Nego, it's deadpan almost. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
And I don't know, bro. I fanned out. Like when I met Pharrell, he actually approached me and he, shook my hand and stuff like that. And we talked for a second. And that wasn't the first time I had met Pharrell. But he's honestly just like a super genuine, nice guy. But like I said, Nigo he's intimidating. He has that bold face on. He could be happy, he could be mad. You don't really know.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I couldn't help it, bro. Like I've met so many rappers and things like that, and I've never fanned out. I really fanned out meeting Nigo. Like I had a smile on my face the whole time because he's also just one of those mythical guys that I feel like, you know what I'm saying? If you do get a chance to rub shoulders with, it's like you feel good, you feel accomplished, you know?
Yeah, and he's one of those guys that he kind of almost is untouchable from a
Right.
media perspective. I know people that work with him. Shout out Dan Doyle from London, who's now like Nego's kind of right hand man. And I will say to Dan every now and again, if if the bossy ever gets 5 minutes and he wants to, jump on the phone and
Right.
say something, say anything whatsoever,
Anything.
then I'm here. I will record. I will do whatever I need to do. But the answer is always like, no, sorry, he doesn't do that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, he doesn't. And I mean, he does so much and he barely says anything about it. He just does it. And,
Yeah,
I don't know. He's just one of those legends. I was just like, man, if I ever heard anything happen to Nigo or any of that other stuff before meeting him, I'd be so upset. So I'm really just happy I got to, rub shoulders. I know he'll remember us and shit, bro. Still, since a kid, I was always like, yo, if I hope I could go to Japan one day and like go through his archive and this, that, and the third. And I just feel like that dream got a little bit closer just meeting him. So, fingers crossed.
no, I know the feeling. It happened to me last year as well with Pharrell and getting to hang out with those guys.
Mm.
So yeah, I know the feeling very well. But the next step, for myself, I've had Shay on here. The next step is Chad and maybe one day Pharrell, or to get something in their hands.
Yeah.
And I guess for you guys, a next step would be one of those teas actually on the
On.
likes of Nego.
Right. And I feel like they appreciate creativity so much that it's not that far fetched. And you know, we already have ties to BBC ice cream. We're really a part of this culture. Um, I feel like it's it's bound to happen, bro. I feel like like within the genuine culture is not too many people who are actually that care about like furthering it and doing things within it that you know what I'm saying that have nothing to do with clout or this that and the third names whatever whatever. So I feel like we're in good hands. Me and you both. Like for real,
Yeah, man.
we're closer than we probably think.
For sure. I think between the likes of us and people that are around us and people that are part of this community, yeah, I know we're only a couple of people away from these people that we look up to and we
Right.
kind of aspire to be to a certain extent. So, yeah, and like I say, we had Shay on the podcast.
Right.
He invited us backstage and we hung out with Pharrell and Chad and Shay
It's
and
crazy.
and yeah, and I never in a million years would I imagine that to have happened, especially not after I don't know what we'd done then, 10 podcasts or something.
Right.
Absolutely ridiculous madness. So we're never that far away. It's never sort of too big to dream these sort of things.
Right.
I think between us, we know enough people, and I think we all know the right people. And I think you just got to keep working at it, working hard, and
Straight
these
up.
things they come eventually. The people notice, and they come eventually, definitely.
Right. For sure. For
So
sure.
what's next for Bust Down Teas? What are you working on at the moment?
So right now we're on the Dancing Dog, which is pretty much the Running Dog shirt, same design, but it's outlined with crystals. Um, the Running Dog is obviously like a classic design, probably one of the most memorable ones outside of like the just the OG logo or like the astronaut head. Um, and it's something that everyone's itching for now, especially with all the changes that BBC ice cream has gone through over the years. Everyone wants like the OG shit now. Everyone's looking, you could have gotten a running dog 10 years ago for $30, and now people are selling them for 250, 300, things of that sort, even worn ones, faded ones. Um, so with this summer approaching, I mean, pretty much almost here in New York, um, the dancing dog is where we're getting off. I mean, we're just pretty much, it's just any, and we're also customizing any colors that someone wants, because we feel like that's a way of, not the future, but that's just something that everybody wants now. Everybody wants their own. Everyone wants to be a one of one, or have something that appeals to them more than everybody else. So we're just we have that door open for someone that says like, oh, I just bought these Air Forces, or I just got these, you know what I'm saying, these human race shoes or whatever it might be, um, to just be able to match that colorway and have the same crystal effect and the same, OG logo effect, not actual OG logo, but the old school logo effect, and just pretty much do their own thing. So that's pretty much what we've been riding with right now, and a lot of people love it. A lot of people love it. We also are working on our own kind of concept outside of the BBC ice cream realm, um, but it's always going to be tied in because we got the idea from the master himself. You know what I'm saying? Like that storyline is always going to be there. Just me and Annalise working at BBC and seeing all the clothes all day, all the time, and meeting Pharrell and looking up old Pharrell pictures. It's actually crazy. Not even to go off on a tangent, bro, but it's so crazy how in today's day and age, like especially with the type of streetwear that I'm into, uh, when you look up the inspiration, even on, do you know the Instagram Hidden New York?
Yeah.
Okay. It's like 50% of the streetwear stuff that comes up on there is OG Pharrell and Nigo. And it's so crazy that like kids are basing their whole style on these two men 10 to 15 years ago. Like they have so many people in between time, you know what I'm saying, whose style they could be looking at and this, that, and the third. And it's like, nah, like these two dudes are like at the helm of it and still there. And I think 5 to 10 years from now, it's gonna be the same shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's how you know that this is real. It's a serious thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We will put a link in the show notes to the Bust Down Tees Instagram, as well as the kind of online store that you've got as well. But if people want to go there now, they can go to Bust Down Tees on Instagram, and there's a link, I think, in your what's it called, in the profile thing there.
The bio, right?
The bio. That's the what I was looking for. You've got it.
But yeah, bust down tees, we still going strong. We're still creating new concepts and everything like that. But yeah, we're really just on the customization thing right now, and the dancing dog is doing a lot for us. Between meeting Nigo with that, but also we got to chill with there's a bunch of things we don't talk about, but we got to chill with Playboy Cardi and Iggy off of the shirts as well. They seen the shirts and they loved them, and we got to chill with them at the hotel. They took us to the show with them. We were backstage with them. Um, I mean, it's just opening up a lot of doors, for real.
That's the thing, man. Yeah, you got to keep working hard. All these people, they start to notice eventually if you're doing good things and the right things and doing it the right way,
Right.
and it all works out.
It all works out. Specifically, if I could say this, because this was like really inspiring for us, we were having a horrible week the day we actually got to the day Cardi bought two of the shirts. Um, it was like super slow at work. And we weren't, I don't know, it was just like a bad week. And none of the shirts were selling or anything like that. And Playboy Cardi came in to BBC and Annalise showed him it. And he was just like, yeah, bring a couple of these to the hotel room. And I mean, we're not trying to say anything besides just like you were saying, like you got to just keep working on your stuff. You just got to keep working and stay humble about it because you could have we had a horrible week that week, but you might have a horrible month or a horrible year where no one's tuning in and no one's really showing appreciation, or, you know what I'm saying? You're feeling like things aren't working right, or like you're wasting your time, or you're putting too much money into it, or whatever it might be. And I mean, shit changes just like that, especially when you really believe in your shit and, you know, there's actually something there. You just got to stay grounded about it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay, so before you have to run, let's also quickly talk about the music as well. So obviously, people that follow you will probably know that you're also a musician. Recently, did involved with Annalise and some other people in a fairly big show. Is it at the Bowery there in New York?
Yes, sir. Sold out show at the Bowery Electric. Annalise headlining. I played right before her, and then we had two other artists as well. But such a great show. Me and my DJ both had on bust down tees as well, and we make sure to plug that in.
Always stay on brand.
Always stay on brand. Yeah, you got to think about these things.
So in terms of the music, how's that going? Are you recording stuff at the moment? Is there stuff coming up? Where
Hey,
can
bro.
people find all your stuff?
So my Instagram handle is Sim from the Hill. I actually have a song dropping tomorrow that I haven't said anything about, but, you know, broke the news here. This whole summer, I'm gonna be dropping so much. I only have 4 songs out at the moment, and when I played that show last week, I did I performed 10 songs. So there's so much going on behind the scenes. I'm really trying to make sure that people see that artistry first and foremost, because I'm a man of many different crafts. You know what I'm saying? Between designing and graphic designing and, you know, photography and all types of stuff. But the music is really where it hits home. So yeah, this summer definitely look out for a lot of the new music. Uh, I'm shooting a video in BBC actually, things of that sort. It's all gonna get tied in together. But yes, tomorrow the song that's actually dropping is called Bust Down. So
Always stay on brand.
always stay on brand, bro. You know, but yeah, this summer is gonna be a great one for my music. Same thing for Annalise. She's shooting some visuals. Uh, Everything's looking up, bro.
That sounds good. So I don't know when I'll get to edit this podcast, but if it's after you drop the song, then I will obviously make sure there's some links in the show notes. But I'll make sure you at least the Instagram and stuff like that is in there as well, so people can head over there and check out all the new stuff.
Appreciate you, bro. So much.
All right, and let's quickly wrap up before you have to go with some other bits of news and releases and stuff that's happening at the moment. A friend of the show, Doughboy Meets World, released some new visuals, I think last week or the week before, and I don't think I mentioned it previously. So 3 new videos. There's also the new album coming soon as well, so make sure you go and check out that, people. At BBC, we've got the Stephen Harrington capsule and figure release tomorrow, and obviously we're recording this on a Friday night, so this is on the Saturday, so again it may already have come out, it may not by the time I post this. Really nice collaboration. The figure looks really good. The capsule collection and the artwork used there looks really good. Hopefully, you know, if you listen to his podcast, you will hopefully know who Stephen Harrington is, but if you don't, then definitely go and check out his artwork himself. There's also a Pharrell and Kanye inspired exhibition happening over in Brooklyn, so if you're in New York, then you should definitely go and check this out. This is from somebody that follows the podcast, Robert Owusu. His Instagram is Third Eye View, so that is IIEYEVIEW. I'll put a link in the show notes. That exhibition is from June the 6th to the 8th, so that's in about a week's time, at the Seven House Gallery in Brooklyn. And some people will have probably seen some of these things being shared on Instagram, but he's also doing a Pharrell In My Mind character plush toy as well. He's got a bunch of those on order, and some other merchandise, I think, at the exhibition. So Of course, if you're a Pharrell fan, a Kanye fan, an art fan, make sure you go and kind of support one of the community over there in Brooklyn and go and check out that exhibition, which will be in about a week's time. Again, links in the show notes. A couple of new album releases, probably worth mentioning. You mentioned it earlier, the new Tyler album. To be honest, I'm not a big Tyler fan. I never really have been. He's got a few good tracks here and there and some bits that I'll listen to. But this album came out. I gave it a spin end to end. I've given it a few listens since then. A really, really good album, I thought.
Yeah, same.
You can tell, obviously, you know, he pulls a lot of his influences from the Neptunes, from Pharrell and Chad and N.E.R.D. There's a lot of kind of references there to their stuff. So if you like that kind of sound, you will probably like this album, as you will a lot of his stuff. But a really good album, a well-written album, a well-produced album. Some good guests on there, Pharrell being one of them, Kanye and some other people. Were you feeling the album?
Yeah, and it's the same with me. I was never really too much of a Tyler, the Creator fan. More of a fan of his personality than his music, but I definitely tuned into this album, and within the Pharrell Neptunes helm that he's usually going for, I feel like he's crafting his own shit. And like I said, I mean, it's all going under the same umbrella.
Yeah.
You know, but it's cool to see it, like, you know, to see him get better with it, but also just, you know, before it kind of sounded like a soundbite, like a Neptune soundbite or like an N.E.R.D. soundbite, and now it's finally just crafting into his own world within the Neptunes, you know, inspiration. So I fuck with it.
Yeah, definitely. He definitely seems to be growing as, you know, an artist and as a person, and it's his own more modern take on,
right,
you know, that Neptunes and N.E.R.D. inspiration, which I really, really like. And like I say, I really like the sound of the album. So that's going to be a good one to be spinning over the summer. Also, new album today, really good potential summer album, the new Skepta album, Ignorance is Bliss. I've given that, I think, 4 back-to-back listens so far today.
Yeah.
Really, really feeling it. Really like it. I'm a big Skepta fan anyway, obviously being from the UK and stuff. So I'm always on the lookout for new stuff from him. But Skepta still doing really big things. A couple of new visuals dropped as well in the last few days for the 2 lead singles from the album. So they're on YouTube, so go and check them out. But the album itself, nothing groundbreaking, I want to say, on there. But a consistent album, a strong album. Like I say, I've listened to it 3 or 4 times back to back, and it keeps growing on me. So definitely go and check that one out. And let's round things off with latest pickups, because I did mention this last week when Sixth Letter was on. We were going to talk about pickups. Obviously, he has probably the greatest potential pickup collection ever, and we never ended up talking about it because we ran so long. Yeah. I've not really got anything from the last few weeks. I've tried to chill a little bit. Couple of bits of vinyl, though. The Beeper record by Family. And then also there was a re-release of Fly or Die a couple of months back now with a special kind of red vinyl. That's out there at the moment. I can't remember where I got it from. I'll try and dig out the link. But if you are desperate for a limited copy of Fly or Die with red vinyl, you can go back and check Chad Hugo's tweets. I think he tweeted something about it a number of weeks back with a link and everything like that. And there's probably still some available, so you can go and get that. And how about yourself? Anything you've copped recently? Anything that's come out that you're kind of feeling at the moment?
I definitely got some of the Girls Don't Cry Human Made collab stuff. I recently also got a BBC one of the trunks. I feel like you've gotten those too.
I've got a couple of those, yeah.
Yeah. It's been sitting in my room for like 2 weeks. I still don't know what I want to put in it.
Mine's still stacked up in the lounge, empty, with a fan on top of them, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, something cool has to go in there. But besides that, I don't think I got anything recent from BBC. I mean, my collection is just getting crazier. Shout out to Sixth Letter, too. Sixth Letter, yep. That man is different. I feel like one day I have to do an ice cream zine, but just him. Like, he literally has that much. He literally has that much.
He's got everything. He's got all the OG stuff. I think, if you wanted to do like a BBC Ice Cream retrospective with all the OG stuff, all the Swallow stuff, all the early Prince, like he's the man. Just
yes,
you go to him.
I gotta fly up to him and just do one with him. No, to be honest, because I did the ice cream zine and did most of the content before even finding. Well, I already knew about him, but like before me and him actually were able to talk and exchange words, and he really has like. You feel me? Like the grail. The grail
yes.
shit. So.
Yes.
He's the one for sure.
We're all envious of him.
Yeah, we are. Straight up.
All right, well let's wrap it up there because I know you need to be making a move, and we've pretty much hit the hour mark anyway that we try and aim for. So good timing all round. You can find myself on Instagram and all the social media platforms at Steve R. Penny. You can find this podcast at Otherz Podcast, or you can go to theothers.net for the website, where you can stream all the episodes. You can get all the show notes and all that kind of thing. Where can people find yourself?
So you can find me at Sim from the Hill on Instagram. You can find Bust Down Tees at Bust Down Tees on Instagram. You can look up my music on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, Tidal. And yeah, man, it's Harlem World. I try to represent where I'm from really, really well. Try to stay true to the culture. And I mean, thank you for having me, bro. It's cool just to be able to have this link globally and just continue building. Like I said, we both were saying, man, we're way closer to where, the people we aspire to be around and aspire to talk to and rub hands with. We're way closer than we think, and that goes for anybody with their own dreams or any of that other stuff. It seems like things are so far away, but we're real close,
Yeah, for sure. It's when you start connecting, and in this community we have, it is a small world, and like I said earlier, I didn't dream in a million years I'd get to do the things I've done and meet all these kind of people that come on the podcast, like yourself and everyone else that's kind of jumped on as a guest, and the likes of Annalise as well. And shout out to Annalise as well, as you have mentioned.
Shout out to Annalise, yes sir.
I have to mention, I will very, very quickly mention the story of meeting her, because I am truly embarrassed by the story of meeting her.
What is it?
It's nothing too bad, but I was in New York last year.
Mm-hmm.
I came through the store with Dave, Mr. King of Creams himself, to come in, and we'd see Mimi, and we came in to see Jules and Damien, and Annalise was working, and I had no idea who Annalise was. So I kind of went over and I said, would you mind, can I put my bags behind the counter? Because she was stood near the counter. And she was like, yeah, of course, I'll keep it on your bags for you, and I'll look out for it and stuff. And then I went about my business. And it was only after that someone, probably Dave, said to me, oh, Annalise is like a really dope singer and she's becoming really popular. And I was like, I had no idea who she was. I had no idea who the girl I just spoke to was. So I then obviously had to look her up on Instagram, and was like, oh shit, yeah, she is actually doing this really cool stuff and she's really popular.
Yes.
And yeah, I had no clue. I was quite embarrassed by the fact that I had no clue about this stuff.
Nah, that's partly your fault, but at the same time, Annalise acts so such a normal girl. You know what I'm saying? You really wouldn't figure that there was anything you can from looking at her. She looks like she's different and she looks like it's, but I feel like she carries herself so normally and so regularly. It's you could easily rub hands with her and not really know.
Yeah, and obviously I had no idea. My oblivious ass just had no clue whatsoever. But I'll also put, I prepped all the links to Annalise's stuff as well. So I'll put all those links in the show notes too. So if you want to go and check out Annalise's music and all the stuff she's working on, you can follow those links, and they'll be in the show notes in whatever podcast app you're listening to this on, or on the website as well. All right, so let's wrap it up there, I guess. You can make a move and get on with your day, and I can start thinking about dinner and going to bed.
Yeah, I appreciate you so much, bro, for real.
No, thank you. I appreciate you coming on, and we'll definitely have to do this again at some point. But as I say, at Sim from the Hill, links in the show notes, theothers.net, and let's call it a day. So thank you for listening, everyone. We'll speak to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cue me, dog.